Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, and tonight we're here to fight CPS and stop taking our children. It's a live podcast, and you just heard Mr. Davis. He was my attorney, still my attorney, but he is a family law dependency a juvenile attorney. That's the area you're in, your dependency law. And he is a specialist of fighting CPS. And he has every Saturday now, he's been doing a question and answer podcast on Saturdays. So it'll play again if you missed the web pages, but please to attend. It'd be well worth it because you'll learn something from a real lawyer. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a family man that has fought CPS for 15 years and had my children, trafficking into foster care for 3 years. So I know where you're coming from. I know what you're doing and everything is going on in your life. I'm here to help you with words of advice from my case and from talking to over 600 people across the country. Yeah, that's right. Over 600. I've been doing this podcast for a year. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS Bob Pace, and I'm streaming on YouTube using the StreamYard application. I'm on twice a day, and I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and I come on in the evening at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And that is 2 shows a day, 14 days a week, Monday through Sunday. So if you didn't catch one of my podcasts are recorded, so you can play it again. I have a lot of useful helps there. I have 5 rules that would really help you with your CPS case, and that there are 4 ways you can interact with this podcast. I have topics loaded to talk about anything from 388 a motion to the ICWA, the 1978 Indian Child Welfare Act. It's all over the place what I can help you with. So people will come and talk on the show and so forth. Now, there's 4 ways you can interact with this podcast. I'll go over really quickly because a lot of you start wanting to text in or call in. But one way is to be in this room. And I'll explain to you what you can do in this room. A second way is to text me a message. Text me a message. A third way is to be a guest on our podcast, where you can be right next to me. I can have up to 9 guests, total of 10 people, including myself. The fourth way is to call in. I have a phone number, an office phone number that you can call in and talk to me right away. So I'd love to hear from you. Periodically, my image will come down. I think it's probably because my finger sits on the touchpad and it erases something or it takes it back. I'm trying to be careful what I touch here. It's a real sensitive computer. But hopefully you can hear me real well and that you can see me okay. I want to strive to make this a very interesting, very helpful podcast for you. I really work hard. Now, it never fails. No matter where I'm at, whether I'm outside or inside or in my home, I get some type of background noise. I don't know why the guy started wanting to play his guitar at my podcast, but he's in his garage playing his guitar, which is vibrating through the walls. Hopefully it doesn't disturb us. When I'm outside, sometimes it's the truck traffic, the bus traffic. I'm in my home. My family have to wait for dinner after my show. And my young son is out And my older son, I think he's at work now. So it's just me and the wife. But she's upstairs resting and so forth. So we have Natalie, who finally got her internet going. Hi, Natalie. So welcome to hear from you. Natalie's from a single mom from West Hollywood, California. And she lost several of her children, and she's been trying to fight back. One is with his uncle up in Washington, which is far away, and then her two other girls, I think, were adopted by somebody in foster care. And I know it was the internet, Natalie. I know it was the internet. And she had a horrible case. What happened with her is that they thought she was crazy and tried to dump that she was mentally not safe to take care of her children, and they falsely arrested her. And for 72 hours, she had to go through all these checks to find out that she was fine. She was fine. And so, anyway, her story was sad. It really was. So this evening, Natalie, I'm going through the 4 ways to interact in there. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. That's really nice of you to do that. Also, hold on one second. I think one of my... All right. So my youngest is home, which is good. And I'm really proud of him. He has really come a long way right now. I mean, what happened to him was terrible in foster care. But right now he's a college student, and he's doing quite well in college. So I'm really proud of him because it's hard for freshmen when they're in their first year of school. Your day was interesting. It's okay to call me. Can you wait a few minutes before when I put my phone number up, you can call me in, Natalie. Okay, so now you guys have found this room and you're starting to use emojis. And I love them. Those like thumbs up, hearts, or smiley faces. And I want to thank Angelino and then Natalie for the emojis. You can also send me stars if you like this show. Please check below that you want to follow my podcast, and if you want to be notified when I'm on, check the notification button. Also, please send any comments you want on my show. I appreciate that. Now, besides taking those listening, a second way that you can participate in this podcast is to text a message. Now, what I mean by text a message, you can write me a comment or a question, and it's about CPS. It's about CPS. And all I ask you is to show your name. Your first name is fine. Your first name is fine. The city you're from or the county you're from, and the state. Now, I mentioned countries because we're worldwide, and countries do text questions and comments in. So they're welcome too. Anybody with a CPS case is welcome. And all I ask is for the countries is to give me your province, or because they may not have a state, but some do have states. Australia does, but South Africa's province, Canada's province. So give me your province as well as the city, your first name, and your country. That'd be great. And I'd love to hear from you. We have a lot of countries right now. We have 15 countries, and some have called in 2 or 3 or 4 times. I've had from Bangladesh, New Delhi, India. Then from the Middle East, I've had Libya. And then I've had Saudi Arabia. And then down over by the continent of Africa, I've had Liberia. In Northwest Africa, Rwanda, in Central East Africa near Lake Victoria, Madagascar on the east coast, Mozambique, opposite Madagascar. It's Mozambique. And then South Africa, I've had the Western Province. Then up north to Europe, I've had England, Scotland, and Wales, all part of the United Kingdom. And then I've had and then I've had Denmark and Sweden too. Then over the pond to North America, I've had Canada, both coasts of Canada. And I've had all the 50 states, including even Washington, D.C. And that's not a state, by the way, but they do have voting rights. It's interesting what Washington, D.C. is. Anyway, south of the border, I've had Mexico. And then down South America, I've had Grenada, east of Venezuela, north of Brazil, on the east coast of South America. Then across the Pacific to the land down under, I've had Australia. And on the east coast, the Gold Coast, I've had the Sydney area in New South Wales. And then on the south coast, Melbourne, in the state of Victoria. And so I've had good representation from all these countries. Some of them, England has called in several times. Liberia has called in several times. And so these people are great because they have good questions. And CPS is a worldwide problem around the world. It is, really. So try to be complete with your case. It's nice if you can tell me if it's a husband-wife relationship, or is it a boyfriend-girlfriend? Are you just lovers? Are you a partnership? And then after that, are both parents involved in getting the children back? Are you a single parent? And are the different parents of the children, meaning different biological parents? Furthermore, what were the allegations you had, and then the ages of children and the sex of children? And how were they taken if they're taken from your home? How were they taken? And then lastly, if you could put where you're at on your case. So that's all you have to do for text and messages or calling in. Now, another way to act, a third way, is to be a guest on my podcast. To be a guest on my podcast. A lot of us today, I want to say all my best wishes is to all our fighting men and women and all the responders. If I look at this, today is a member of our military that fought, and today was the end of World War I. I don't know if too many people knew about that, but thanks to Natalie, she shared me with that. And today is the day ending the World War I, ended today. And so God bless all you fighting men and fighting women that served our country. Without you, we wouldn't have the United States. And that goes to everybody, all the wars that we've had. And I hope we have no more wars. I hope we're in the era of peace now, the era of peace, with our new president who does not like wars. So that is really good. Now, the third way I said is to be a guest on my podcast. And to be a guest on my podcast, you're going to prearrange with my show producer. Her name is Grace, and she works behind the scenes and produces my podcast and does a really good job in helping me. Many thanks go out to Grace. I cannot do it without you. So she makes all the things run smoothly. Now, to be a guest, all you can do is write an email to Grace at her email address, grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just pick one of those days. Now, I already give you the times. Now, on Saturday and Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock. Saturday is because of Vince's podcast, and Sunday is because of church. I like to go to church. So those 2 days I'm on 2 hours earlier. And then on Friday Night Lights is high school season. My son's team is in the playoffs, and I have a playoff game this Friday. And they're in the second round, and they're going to go away for another national championships. And so on Friday, I start 2 hours early, about 4 o'clock. But I'll confirm that with you as the days get closer to Friday. I'll confirm that with you. Now, to be my guest is that she'll send back to you the link. And when you get that link, you can get on to onto Facebook using the StreamYard application. If you happen to get knocked off, don't panic. You can get back on again. All you have to do is use that link. The link's good for the show. And she'll tell you what you can do and not do, like you can't eat on the show, you can't smoke on the show. We do not use the children's names, the social workers' names, or the judges' names on the show. So we try to refrain from those. And so she will help you making sure your lighting and sound and so forth are done. So she will help you. She's a really good person, really hard worker. Now, the fourth way and the final way is to call in. And to call in, I'm going to put my number up. And what that means when you call in is that you can talk to me. It's my office number. It's 626-698-0990. And it's a direct line. I use Vonage as my application. My phone is done on streaming. So it's on the internet. I use Vonage there. So that number's live. But I'm not live before my show or after my show. So you can't call me at that number before my show or after my show. So keep that in mind. Now, by calling in and being on my show with the speaker and talking, or by being a guest, you're going to qualify for a free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis, a private consultation for free. All I need you to do is be a guest on my podcast or call in. And then I'll need your name, your phone number, and email, and then I'll send it off to Grace, who will handle the arrangements of scheduling you for your free consultation with Mr. Davis. And it's well worth it. Now, if 15 minutes is not long enough, I have another link that you can go to that I made arrangements with Vincent Davis. And it's an internet link. You can get 30 minutes of private consultation with Mr. Davis for $60. All you have to do is to go to the web link https://candly CALENDLY.com/apps APPTSVWD /Bob Pace, BOBPACE. And that will go there. You use your credit card, and for $60, you can talk to him for 30 minutes. $60 for 30 minutes. So I have two ways you can talk to him for free for 50 minutes: by being a guest on my podcast, or by calling in. And now I give you a third way that you can talk to him for 30 minutes for $60 at that website. It's at the bottom of my screen. It'd be up to the whole show. So that's the third way. A fourth way is you can call the office number. It's on the screen too. It's 888-888-6582. That's our office. And we have many attorneys there. It's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis and Associates, located in Arcadia, California, the LA County. And we have all kinds of attorneys in real estate law, in claims like insurance claims, injuries, workman's comp. We have criminal law, divorce law. We have everything besides dependency law. Dependency law with families and children is where you want an attorney to be at. Mr. Davis is that. That is really is there. So I've given you several ways. And Natalie, if you want to call in and talk about something, the phone line is open, and I love to have you call my number. Now, there are 5 rules that I've come up with, and so we can talk about that throughout the show. Now, we can also talk about questions and answers about CPS. I have a software that I check, and I get stories about CPS cases. It's through Core's Digest, and it's something you could go ahead and you can um, listen and stuff for you. Okay. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Pretty good. I understand you've had a terrible time the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the internet's been down a couple of days, and I had breathing problems and shortness of breath, and so I had to stay in for a couple of days. So it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've had internet problems too, so I know where you're coming from.
I mean, I can't even call out on my voice, which is crazy.
Well, I started a show the other day, and all of a sudden my computer decided to do an update, and I hate that because you want to postpone it, you don't catch it in time, it got to do its update. So
yeah, I know that's what they do, and then
yeah, and
so
people like us are not. Yeah, we're not.
The other night, yeah. I had to call 911. Somebody was banging on the door.
Oh boy!
And,
so what's new with your case, Natalie? What's the latest about your children?
Well, my kids, I mean, they're growing up, and I don't get to see them. So hopefully, like next year, I get to file the guardianship for them because I just want my daughters to come home. Because it's getting more physically difficult for me. And, I mean, I am a physical person. I do go walking and all these things to get my, the bottles and stuff, But it's just, I need someone there because it's hard, when you're out of breath. And then I went to the doctor across the street, and he didn't care. He just wanted to go buy a boat.
Well, okay, you have a son.
Really.
If I remember, and he's up in the state of Washington.
Yeah, he lives in the state of Washington. He lives 4 hours away from Portland.
Okay.
Which is like,
right. So that doesn't make you very good. When's the last time you saw your son? How old was he?
Last time I saw my son, he was 6 months old.
6 months old, and how old is he now?
My son is 8 years old.
Wow. So for 7 years and 6 months, you've not seen your son?
No, I have not seen my son, and my uncle refuses to he doesn't want anything to do with me and my brother now.
Wow.
Because of what happened, because my mom loaned money to my other uncle, which is my uncle's brother. So my uncle didn't want to pay.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hello?
Hi.
I'm on the phone with another person at the moment. Do you want to wait, or do you need to speak now?
I can wait.
Okay, and your name is what?
Yakima Spanish.
Okay, I'll be right with you. Let me take care of this other call, okay?
Okay.
Natalie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Bob. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have another caller that wants to ask a question, so let me go ahead and finish up with you. So your son, the uncle is preventing you from visiting him?
I don't even know. It's really weird. It's just my brother's trying to make contact with my uncle, so maybe I could go visit, but I really don't know what his thinking is now because my brother won the case for the money to be returned. So because my mom had a contract with my other uncle about the money, so my other uncle was telling him all.
Yeah.
My other uncle was telling my uncle that has my son all these things that wasn't true about my brother.
Right.
So he kind of believed it.
Okay.
And so it actually is weird, but I just can't see my son now. So.
Would
And,
you?
but maybe he'll change.
Yeah. Would you be able
But my
to?
daughters, I can't see anyway because this woman has them, and she lives out in Santa Clarita, here, California.
Right.
Like like where
Right.
past.
Would you be able
Omar.
to? I need to take this call. Would you be able to call back in if I hang up on you and then get back in? Okay.
Okay. How long will the call take me? Just don't know. I will call back in though because.
Yeah, you will because you hear me talk on the show. You hear me talk on the show. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hello, I'm Bob Pace. I got you on here again. Your name is Yakima Dennis, and where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina.
You're from South Carolina. What city or county was your case in?
It was in Greenville County.
Greenville County. So now, was this involving one children or several children?
Actually, all 6 of my children.
You have 6 children, and the ages of the sexes of your children are what?
I have 4 boys, and my oldest son is 25. Then I have a 21-year-old, and a 22-year-old. Then I got a 9-year-old.
Okay.
Then I have 2 girls. One of them 14, and the last one is 5. And I have a case that was in 2017 where my parental rights were violated.
Were they terminated?
They were violated.
But they weren't terminated?
I didn't know anything about a plan. She never went through that with me.
Okay.
My guardian, the caregiver, she wasn't letting me see my son, so we had a meeting, and they denied me changing my caregiver. That resulted in me not seeing my son for like 9 years.
Well, I mean, he was taking you from at birth. He's only 9, right?
Yes, sir. When I had him in the hospital, I didn't realize how far along I was because I didn't show. So when I went to the hospital, they gave me a pregnancy test before I had my child because I wasn't showing at all.
Okay.
And I carried my last daughter, my 5-year-old. I carried her the same way. I wasn't showing.
Okay.
And they took my child. They told me that either I put my child up for adoption or put all of my children under DSS investigation. The children that wasn't even in my care, because I stayed kind of with my mom and my grandmother, because when I had to go to work, I stayed at my mom's house because it was closer for me to get to my job.
Okay.
And then on my days off, I went to my grandmother's house. So I was kind of back and forth with work. And so basically they were with my grandmother while I was working. And
so they took your child, your newborn child, because you're pregnant?
Yeah, they said lack of prenatal care.
Oh, lack of prenatal care because you didn't know that you were pregnant then, right?
Yes.
Lack of prenatal care. Well, I guess that would be neglect, right? They charge you with neglect?
Yeah, the way the charges sounded like, I don't have the papers in front of me, but yeah, it was neglect and torture to a child.
Now, how would it be torture to a child?
I don't know. But the solicitor, Ms. Adams, she took the charges and she was like, those are felonies. She said those are really huge charges. And,
well, torture is, but a torture has to have an implication, meaning they have to show that you tortured the child. Being pregnant is not torturing a child.
Well, they call it lack of prenatal care torture.
Really? That's interesting. That's Greene County, right?
Yeah, Greenville County.
Greenville County. I haven't dealt with anybody from Greenville County, but it sounds like they're pretty lousy social workers. Now, your other children, I mean, so your baby was discovered you're pregnant, and they right away wanted to take your child away?
Yep, they took my child. I didn't get to bring my son home from the hospital, and I can count on one hand how many times I've seen them. I called the caregiver
January of 2019, and I asked her, because see, the caregiver lets my grandmother and my other children see my son, but she won't let me see him. And my grandmother goes along with that. She hasn't tried to.
So your grandmother's not supporting you, right?
Not at all. Not at all. Because when that happened, the caseworker said that I couldn't be around my children, so therefore I couldn't stay at my grandmother's house. So I was homeless, no car, and just trying to make it the best way I can. I went through depression, and I tried to take my life, and I just went through a lot with, having my babies taken away from me, because that's my life.
Well, did you get an attorney?
I didn't have an attorney. I didn't even see the guardian ad litem. I didn't have a plan. If she did, she didn't discuss it with me. I don't think, and she didn't even tell me I had to. If somebody said, you got to go take drug classes, I was like, drug classes? I didn't have anything in my system. But I went to the Phoenix Center, and I was working third shift, and it was kind of impossible for me to work third shift 12 hours, then sit in that class for like 4 hours. And then I had another parenting class that I had to take, and I was doing all of this at one time. And it was really rough on me because I didn't have a vehicle, so I had to walk to each one of these places.
Well, what I'm reading right here in Greenville County in South Carolina, they say what's considered child neglect in South Carolina. Child abuse or neglect or harm occurs when the parents, guardian, or other person responsible for the child's welfare fails to supply the child with adequate food, clothing, development, or health care, or through financial able to do so. Now, I wonder if they're talking about that development or a child's age. The child's not born. That's a real tricky thing. And of course, you don't know about getting an attorney. And that's so sad because they take advantage of that.
I didn't know I needed an attorney. I didn't.
Well,
I got enough. They took my 5-year-old.
Right.
And
getting an attorney, having an attorney is just like having a driver's license. In order to drive on the road, you have to have a driver's license. To fight CPS or to defend yourself when you've been legally prosecuted, it's your constitutional right to be represented. And if you can't afford one, one will be placed for you, but it's no guarantee that the one that is your court-appointed attorney will do any good, because most court-appointed attorneys are just starting beginning law, and they just have a criminal background, not a dependency, family, juvenile background. And so what's happened is that they're taking advantage of you. Now, were you married at the time?
No, I wasn't.
So you had no. Where was the father doing all this time?
He went back to New York, and so
he didn't want to help you out when you got in this trouble.
Yeah, he had probation, and he got.
Well, no, I meant he didn't want to help you.
No.
He didn't want to support the child. He wanted to be a deadbeat father.
Exactly.
And left you alone as a single. Yeah. Were you guys married?
No.
So you guys were girlfriend, boyfriend, or you just lovers?
It was girlfriend, boyfriend.
Okay. So you had some relationship over a period of time, but it never materialized into marriage. And then you got pregnant. Now, your other children, were they all by the same father and other fathers?
The same.
Okay.
And he did 18, 20, and 10 years in prison. And
oh boy.
When he got out, he did nothing for my sons. I did everything. Like, I gave my grandmother every penny I had, and I had to stay here and there, and it was hard to save up to get my own place because I have to pay where I'm staying at, and I have to pay for a ride to get to work, and I have to give my grandmother money. By that time, I only have like maybe $20 or $30 left over. And
now, when you were involved in the CPS people, and in South Carolina, what are they called? Are they called CPS in South Carolina? Okay. So when you're involved with them, do you ask them for food or shelter or
Oh,
clothing?
they denied me. They denied me assistance. The second go around, when they took my 5-year-old last year and they terminated my parental rights, so I had to file an appeal too, and I'm fighting to get her back. But I also told them that the case that they was throwing against me was the case where they violated me, where they violated my parental rights. And the caseworker, her words sunk me into a deep depression. And I tried to take my life because I felt like I didn't have no say-so, no control over my children. And I felt so far away with getting them back. And in 2019, I got an apartment. And so, my children were coming back. My children was with me. And then I had to leave my apartment because we had unhealthy living conditions. We got mold poisoning that landed me and my daughter back homeless. My son, they went back to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother did not help me out when I lost my apartment. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
And my mom passed away, and the insurance money, she kept everything, and I was the beneficiary. And when I went to ask her for what piece of money she was going to give me, she told me, she said, I'm not going to give you blank.
I'm so sorry to hear about this. We have a listener who's been to my room a lot. Her name is Akima Richardson. She's from Brooklyn, New York. And she says a couple things that may help you. She says CPS always demonstrates custodial interference and definitely parent alienation, hands down. I agree with you. And welcome, KK and Akima. Yeah, that's right. That is child's endangerment, what they do. They endanger the children, CPS does. If she only had one prior case until her youngest child reaches the age of 2, I got to read this a little bit better here. I'm going to put this up on my screen so I can see it better. Are you seeing this at all? Are you watching my show?
Yeah.
Okay. She said if you had no other prior cases until your youngest child reaches the age of 21, and if that child was neglected or endangered in the womb, they have the authority to remove the child based. And I don't know how they'd be damaged in the womb. Let me see what else she says.
My son was healthy.
Yeah, okay, good to hear that. She's written so much that I'm trying to catch up with her, and wow. She says further, a lack of adequate medical care. She's trying to help you. She's trying to understand where you're coming from there too.
Yes, and they took my baby again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry on that. Akima further says, do you have resources or access to social workers or parent advocates that you know speak on your behalf or communication with the higher? Do you have any of that?
No, the lawyer did not even meet with me. He knew nothing about my cases, and he let them use the prior case. And then they were saying a 2006 case. I didn't have a 2006 case, so it was like an error. And the lawyer didn't know that. The caseworker, I had to report her misconduct and mismanagement, and then her supervisor was watching her while she was assisting me. And the supervisor witnessed the mismanagement because in February, the caseworker showed me. I didn't know, she didn't talk to me anything about a plan. The caseworker showed me where the plan was at because I told the supervisor that I wanted somebody else who was for me and who could help me get my child back. And so the supervisor witnessed the caseworker's mismanagement because because she had to show me what my plan was at, and that's something that she should have went over in the beginning. And that March they terminated my parental rights, and I told them I didn't want my grandmother involved, so they invaded my privacy rights by notifying my whole family. Even in Colombia, they sent my mail to the wrong address. The caseworker, she did nothing to reunify. She denied me resources. They just flung me in the mud. And
Now, okay,
child.
you have this child that you know you're pregnant. What about the first child that was born, the child that is 14?
Yeah, all of my children came out healthy, no drugs.
Okay, the one that's 14, did you have a case with them when your 14-year-old was younger?
No.
So your 14-year-old, you had no case until you had your one that's now 5, right?
Yeah, I had one with my son that's 9 years old. And he's in the
Did you have a case with the 9-year-old in the beginning?
Yeah, that's the one I had. They took at the hospital.
Okay. Is the 5-year-old a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Okay. So you have a girl of 14, a boy of 9, and another girl of 5. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your older children are over the age of 18, right?
Yeah, they're supporting themselves.
Right, I understand. So you're not responsible for anybody over 18. So right now you have 3 children. And with the 14-year-old daughter, you had no incidents during her whole time with her. You never were accused of neglect or abuse with your 14-year-old daughter, correct?
They took her when they took my son.
Well, I know they're going to take her because they have a habit of rounding up all the family members. But before they took your son, there was no problem with CPS with the 14-year-old.
No.
Now, you said there was some problem with the 9-year-old with CPS. What did they accuse you of then?
They said lack of prenatal care, but then they turn around and made me take drugs.
Well, wait. Prenatal. Was he also discovered that you didn't know you're pregnant with him? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I didn't know with my son.
So you did not know with your daughter or your son you're pregnant? Either one.
I knew with my daughter. I wasn't showing, but I just got really sick.
Well, did you ever think about going to the doctor and having yourself checked out?
Yeah, I had prenatal care with my daughter.
Okay, with your 5-month daughter, right? Okay,
my 5-year-old daughter.
right. So it started with your 9-month son, and when he had problem with prenatal care, did they take your 14-year-old daughter along with that boy?
They took all of them.
Right. They usually round up the true because they say if you did one child, you probably neglect the other. Now, with this boy being neglected, they accuse you because you didn't know you're pregnant. And so now you found out you're pregnant. And was the child born okay?
Yeah.
So as soon as the child was born, they marched in and took your child.
Yep, correct.
And you did not know that in order for someone to take your child, they need a warrant?
I didn't know that.
No. In fact, by the law, you have constitutional and civil rights have been violated because your constitutional civil rights allows you to have representation by a lawyer at all phases. So they can't take your children. They can tell you they want to. They can bring a policeman to intimidate you to take them. But by law, they can't unless you give them permission or there is domestic violence going on where the child's being harmed, they're going to step in. The last way is with a warrant. They have to have a warrant signed by a judge, legitimate signature, legitimate warrant that says they have the right to interview you, to talk to you, to search your home, to take your children. And you probably didn't know all that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So they took advantage, which they do tremendously a lot of parents out there. I'm sorry to say 99% of the CPS workers take advantage of your parents because you don't know the laws. And no one really does. I didn't know the law. I did the most stupid things with my children. But I didn't know what CPS was. I didn't know. They, for 5 years, hassled me with false allegations from a layperson. A layperson was trying to take our children away from me and my wife. And they were given false allegations. And so that was a long time before dummy me let them have my children. They weren't in imminent danger, by the way. They were in school. And they did illegal things. They went to my children's school and stole them. They trafficked my children into foster care. Their report was, oh, I want to protect your children. Well, what they did is they put them in a block shelter home, a shelter home, CPS controlled, and it was right next door to the juvenile prisoners, and they could talk to these kids through a fence that was right by their play area. So that's their idea of protection. And they were fully in academic schools following the STEM program, where they had to take a science class, a technology class, an engineering class, a math class. They were going to become engineers. So one of my child was in private school, the other one's middle school, and the other one in elementary school, but they all were geared for higher education. And they said, oh, they're in danger in school. No, they're not in danger in school. I did not know the law. I should have told them, you're not taking my children. I should have got an attorney right away. I didn't. Those are the mistakes that I made. So for all you listeners out there, you got to think about that. Now, I need to catch up with Akima because she said a lot here today. She really is talking tonight, which I really appreciate her, but I need to catch up with her. She has said so much tonight that I'm sorry, Kima. I'm not trying to ignore you. It's just that, so why was no child support or social services put him on support order based on temporary assistance? Why was not the father of the children have a court order to put him on, a support order? You didn't know about that, right? You didn't know about that because the father is legally responsible. Both parents are responsible for children. They both have to help support that child. It isn't all in one parent, but a lot of deadbeat dads will head for the country and try to escape their responsibilities.
Yeah, I'm the one that pays child support.
Why would you pay child support? Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. They the way they closed the case, and as far as I didn't know about getting my son back.
Yeah. Akima is asking a question. No, she has no other relationship. She's had one father for all her children, and that father is a deadbeat dad. He's already been in prison several times. So she's had to take care of the full responsibility of raising her 14-year-old, her 9 and 5-month-old. And I admire you for that. I'm not going to talk about your other children because they're of age. I'm not trying to ignore them, but you must have done something right.
She took the 14-year-old back from me because she got mad because I told her that my 5-year-old felt some type of way. You know, she got sad when she see her sister leave and all the rest of her grandchildren, and she's being left behind. And
right.
My cousin, my daughter was 1 at the time. Her daughter was 4 in diapers. My daughter was 1. She was potty trained and she was walking on her own. And
okay.
She was trying to sit up independently and feed herself, but she would keep my cousin's child, which is, years older than her, in diapers. And
now, you never had a shelter. Did you have a shelter?
No, all the shelters were full, so we ended up having to stay like at hotels, and that's how my 5-year-old got taken. because my car was stolen, and I bought another one. Then that car was stolen again, and everything that I owned was in my car.
Well, you could apply for assistance based on your 3 children. You could have got a lot of assistance there if you have no income.
I did. My grandmother, she held my papers for like 3 months from the housing authority that I've been waiting on since 2013, and she held it so that I couldn't get it. And she does all my checks.
Akima, her grandmother had really bad. Her mother's died. Akima, she has this really hard case here. And they basically, Akima said, they basically blame you for that because they feel as a mother, you should have known that with pose a severe health problem. A lot of people don't have the education. It's not the fault. Have you completed high school?
Yeah, I got some college. I'm going to school for criminal justice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting
okay. Well, Akima became an attorney when her kids were taken away. So, Natalie says, hi, Akima. And that's good, Natalie.
Hi. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Natalie's a very friendly person. She was on before you when she was talking about the show here. I'm trying to catch up with the conversation. And Natalie, I agree with you. CPS is extremely wrong because you can explain about the parental care. They're not going to help you. They're interested only to make money off you. It's $1 trillion business that CPS makes off taking the parents trafficking them into foster care and alienate you from your children. It's terrible.
It's legal trafficking.
Well, it's not supposed to be legal, but it's legal in their case because they don't call it trafficking. Now, Akima says if you neglected to honor the amount of parental care that the state has as their law, then you have to abide by that. So I have to really study this. I don't have time on the show because I'm going to have to end the show pretty soon here because we're at the 52 mark here. And so I'm not trying to cut it short here, but I'm trying to catch up with the messages from Natalie and from Akima here. And they're writing so fast. I just, let me see here. Question for you. Would you, since you're talking on my phone, you qualified for a 15-minute talk with my attorney, Vincent Davis. Would you like to talk to him for free?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe he can shed the light and help you, but you only got 15 minutes and you got to construct it. So that was, Natalie says, yeah, all I need from you, I'm trying to think how we could do this. Can you text me on your phone?
This number that I'm on?
The number you call me, can you text it? The number you call, the phone you're on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you print your first and last name, your phone number, and your email? Those 3 things, and I'll have you set up a 15-minute podcast with my show producer. A private consultation with Mr. Davis for 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
So if you can text it to me, I'd like to get this done before the hour's out. We got about 5 minutes left here. So all I need is your first and last name, your phone number, and your email. And then my show producer will contact you and set up a 15-minute session with Mr. Davis.
Okay.
He is a real attorney. He's a very likable man, but you got to have all your facts ready and you got to explain your case kind of quick there.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be ready.
Now, Akima says every state has a parent support advocacy department that helps you with things like this. Do you know about that in South Carolina, the parent support advocacy? Do you know about that?
Nope, I was denied help.
Well, you need to exercise your help. Every state has a parental support, and they will help you with things like that.
I think I've seen something like that from California because I went to their housing authority.
Yeah, you need to go on the internet. The internet has so much information. You'll learn so much there.
Yeah, it kind of hurt.
Natalie, I don't know. She doesn't have a real attorney. She has a court-appointed attorney who's done nothing. So they won't do a 3-8 motion, Natalie. That's a good idea, but it's not going to work for her. But thank you for offering that. Akima says, once the case initially opens, a safety plan is presented, but most of the time when they have that first family team conference or the safety meeting, we as parents are unaware because most of it not to be intruding, but are there fathers or fathers involved in children? She has no fathers. She has one man created the children with her. And that man is bad news. He doesn't pay child support. She pays child support.
Yeah. And I can't even see my son.
But because she had a situation with a 9-year-old that led another child after that where the father's not involved, it looks like you have just having casual relationships around your children. She has older children by the same man, so I don't think it's casual. They just decide not to get married. There's no law that says you have to be married. So they were girlfriend and boyfriend. They had a relationship. They cared. So if your 9-year-old has also the same allegations, that means they could use the 9-year-old case in your youngest child's case. Well, they could.
Yeah, that's what
They could. Yeah, and based upon your history of prenatal and neglect has given them jurisdiction and probably causes to open up a case based on history. In your state, which is South Carolina, you have to be 12 years or older to state to the judge or the guardian ad litem where you would like to reside, and then they also make the determination. There's something behind that.
My son doesn't even know I'm his mother.
Wow.
He doesn't even know anything. The caregiver.
A warrant needs to go out. I don't know if you need a warrant. I don't know what a warrant goes out for the guy. I don't know what you mean, Natalie. This is the mother. She doesn't need a warrant. If the child was born with no defects and no step down, then NICU concerns she was supposed to speak to a social worker in the hospital to advocate on her behalf because that's what they do. What song from South? I think she meant where. Okay, she's from Greenville, South Carolina, Akima.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to have at least 3 visits for every trimester of the pregnancy, regardless when you found out about it. Then Okima said, you're responsible as the parents with a live person growing inside you, basically. You're supposed to protect the life inside. Also to women from South Carolina, be mindful of when you talk to within the educational institution as well. Also, any extra outside service, such as therapeutic or respite, you have to watch. Those people, those people are because you think they're to support you, but they're waiting for something to report. They're fishing. You got to be careful, and Kima's right. Unfortunately, Bob, not in South Carolina. If the father does not sign a certificate of birth, they cannot marry at the time of the child's birth. I don't think they want to get married. Child support is determined state by state, but usually based on each parent's income, and whoever makes the most, that is who pays the support, regardless if that's the custody. So why wasn't social workers services prompted for temporary assistance? I have no idea. We're going to have to talk about this at another show. I'd like you to think about maybe calling tomorrow morning at my 10 o'clock show Pacific Standard Time, or my evening show tomorrow night. And we can continue talking about this. But also, I want to make sure I get your information. I'm going to have to thank Natalie for calling in and Natalie for talking. Akima Richardson for calling in. Let me check my thing and see if you get me the text messages here. Hold on.
Is she a judge?
No, she's a mom just fighting CPS like the rest of them. And
Okay.
have you texted me a message?
Yeah, did it go through?
I'm looking. I don't see it yet. I do not see it yet.
698-6990.
Yeah, that's the number, 626-698-0990. Let me look again. You're 864 area code, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, I'm looking at my messages, 805-530, nothing there. And then calls. Your call's not even showing up on my phone.
Oh, that's weird. Did the text go through?
No, they didn't. And hold on. I don't see an 864. Is that phone able to do Texas?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I have 805-530, 217-530-951-472. I have nothing there on my where the text messages would show. And then for the calls, I have Natalie's call, but I don't have your call, 530-805-916. I don't see it. That's so weird. You must have a phone that's blocking it or something. Well, here's what you can do. There's two ways because I can't go much longer. You can try again later tonight to text me another message at 626-698-0990. And if that doesn't work, then please call me tomorrow at 8 o'clock. At 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, or tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Pacific. That's Tuesday. One of those times. And we can talk more about your case, okay? Because I want to help you. I'm on here twice a day. I'm not running away. I'm on 7 days a week, 14 shows. So you're not going to lose it. But I'd like you to have that 15 minutes of free time to talk to a real attorney who maybe could shed the light on your case. Okay?
Yes, I will.
And that, Akima, if you come back in tomorrow, that'd be great. Natalie, too, but thank you, too. I want to thank all my listeners. God bless you. There'll be a short message from Vincent Davis about his upcoming podcast on this Saturday. And I want to thank you. Again, your first name is?
Yakima.
Yakima. Yakima. I'm trying to remember that. Okay, Yakima. Thank you, Yakima. God bless you. Things have got to get better for you. So this is Bob Pace signing off.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.